Minglava. This is the weekly highlight news of Radio NUG. I'm James. Here are the news highlight for this week. The Union Prime Minister of the National Unity Government, m.CDMMyanmar, attends the interim look at Public Administration Development Central Committee meeting. The National Unity Government NUG invites the public to participate in the Natural Disaster Relief Fund program in order to help the flood-affected people in Myanmar. Myanmar permanent representative to the UN, Ambassador m.CDMMyanmar attends the opening of the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly and other interesting news. These are the weekly news details. The Union Prime Minister of the National Unity Government, m.CDMMyanmar, attended the interim look at Public Administration Development Central Committee meeting on 12th September. At the meeting, the Union Prime Minister emphasized the severe storm-related rainfall and flooding in certain central areas as well as future airstrikes of the military junta. So, it tries as soon as possible to provide shelter, medicine and food to civilians who have fled due to the cruel airstrikes and flood victims. The member of the interim look at Public Administration Development Central Committee clarified the decision made on 33/2024 meeting, the completion conditions of the previous processes and the remaining processes to be completed. The meeting was attended by the Union Prime Minister, Union Ministers, Deputy Ministers, Permanent Secretaries, Joint Permanent Secretaries, and officials from relevant departments. The National Unity Government NUG has invited the public to participate in the Natural Disaster Relief Fund program in order to help those affected by the floods in Myanmar. The Ministry of Planning, Finance and Investment of the National Unity Government project, which ranks NUG Pay, has launched a disaster relief fund program to help people to people, and since this is the relief fund with no set campaign date, they will donate to flood-affected people who require assistance as long as funds are available. The announcement of this program stated that donations would no longer be made after waiting for a specific period of time as in the past. Instead, they will be made to people in need every 50 million checks, and details about the completions of the donation will also be sent to the public. The Ministry NUG Pay has been issued to help people overcome difficulties with life during disaster. Spring Development Bank has collaborated with m.CDMM's Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management Department to assist people of the flood-affected townships, and humanitarian relief fund will be collected until 20th September. So, Spring Development Bank invited customers to participate in the donation. The Myanmar permanent representative to the United Nations, Ambassador m.CDMMyanmar and his team attended the closing of the 78th session of the UN General Assembly and the opening of the 79th session of the UN General Assembly in New York City on 10th September. At the closing ceremony of the 78th United Nations General Assembly, the United Nations Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres, expressed appreciations for the performance of the President of the 78th United Nations General Assembly, His Excellency Mr. Dennis Francis, who served to target the expectation of peace, prosperity, progress, and long-term sustainability. Next, His Excellency Mr. Dennis Francis also expressed gratitude to those who supported him throughout his tenure. After that, the President-elect, who was chosen to serve as the chairman for the 79th United Nations General Assembly, former Prime Minister of Cameroon, His Excellency Mr. Fliminion, took the oath of the office in accordance with the UN Code. It is also reported that gavel was handed over from His Excellency Mr. Dennis Francis. The Permanent Mission of Myanmar to the United Nations announced that the Credentials Committee was formed with 9 member countries such as Antigua and Barbuda, Cabo Verde, China, Dominica, Laos, Liberia, Monaco, Russia, and the United States to decide on the representative positions, including Ambassador m.CDMMyanmar's position. Despite the difficult challenges, ICRC teams remain committed to reaching and supporting the most vulnerable communities, particularly in Shan, Kachin, Rakhine, Central Myanmar, and conflict-affected areas in Chin, Kaya, and Kayin states, according to the announcement of ICRC on 10 of September. The president of the International Committee of the Red Cross ICRC, Ms. Majana Spocharis, said that many families in Myanmar are going without basic medicines and health care, face food shortages and have limited access to clean water and sanitation. They lived with the fear of conflict and violence. The disruption of their livelihoods is leaving countless people without the means to sustain them. The ICRC president visited Myanmar from 5th to 9th of September amid escalating conflict and violence and deteriorating humanitarian conditions. During her meeting with the Senior General Myanmar, chairman of the State Administration Council of Myanmar, Ms. Spocharis spoke about the ICRC intention and ability to increase humanitarian assistance as she advocated for greater access to conflict-affected areas. She also underscored the ICRC neutral role and goal of the reaching populations most in need. The president said that they are engaging in a bilateral and confidential dialogue with all actors to the conflict to remind them of their obligation to respect international humanitarian law and ensure the safety of the civilians and humanitarian actors. Millions of people in Myanmar are facing hunger, but the ICRC has not disclosed how many people it will support or when they will receive assistance. More than 21,000 people received food aid during the first 6 months of this year, 20,000 with household supplies and more than 25,000 with fuel cartridges, according to reports. It has been reported that around 83,000 people have received water, sewage, shelter, and emergency sanitation system. In addition to providing 4,000 prenatal care and 4,600 disease treatment consultations at 15 hospitals and 44 health facilities across the country, it was revealed that the physical rehabilitation program assists over 200 people with disabilities, including 853 explosion victims. More than 2,000 people who have been released from prison have been helped in securely returning to their families, the ICRC said in a statement. The Union Minister for the Ministry of Home Affairs and Immigration of NUG, Ulwin Kolab, joined a press conference on 11 of September. At the press conference, the Union Minister stated that the team working on the rule of law has already established a public security team in 45 townships. 8 police stations have been established in 8 townships. In 2024, there are 915 cases in 45 townships with 270 prosecuted, 318 under investigation, and 73 closed. This year, there have been 244 decrees issued. According to the rate of the cases, there are more than 20 cases in one township, and the Union Minister stated that there is no major breakdown in law enforcement. These are the weekly highlight news of Radio NUG. We will present more interesting weekly local news to you. Thanks for joining our news.